Good afternoon, welcome to NMS. Today what we're going to discuss with you is how to actually fix your cortisol levels. So to do that, first of all we're going to talk about the effects of cortisol. So what does cortisol actually do? Well, there is different fat locations and they respond differently to cortisol. So fat tissue isn't all the same. Abdominal and visceral fat, subcutaneous fat in the limbs, and facial fat have different receptors and enzyme activity. So this basically means they actually respond more to stress than some other fatty areas of the body. So visceral fat cells have more glucocorticoid receptors, GRs, and are more sensitive to cortisol than peripheral fats like hips or thighs. So local cortisol activation in fat. So basically cortisol circulates in the blood, but fat cells also regulate their own exposure via an enzyme called 11-beta HSD1 or 11-beta hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase. Rather large name, but basically what that means is this enzyme converts inactive cortisone to active cortisol inside the fat tissue. It's more active in visceral central fats, so those fat cells see more cortisol compared to limb fat. Okay, so basically what that means is you're going to store more fat in those areas based on the amount of stress that you have and the amount of cortisol that you produce. So insulin and cortisol synergy. So cortisol raises blood glucose and then the pancreas secretes more insulin. Insulin then promotes more fat storage. So cortisol and insulin together especially encourage fat storage in visceral depots or locations, especially the abdomen, the trunk and the face. Meanwhile, cortisol promotes lipolysis, so fat breakdown, okay, in subcutaneous fat of the limbs and skinny arms and legs. So in other words, you're going to carry more fat in the stomach area, but less fat in the actual limbs. This is basically an evolutionary perspective, and why is this? Because, well, central fat is metabolically active and easy to mobilize under stress or starvation. So cortisol is a stress hormone, so preferentially storing energy in visceral fat may have been adaptive, quick access to energy close to the liver and circulation. Obviously, if you're storing it away from the liver and the visceral fat areas, you're not going to have good access to it. So in summary, cortisol doesn't just cause weight gain, it redistributes fat. So increased fat around the trunk, face and back of neck. Decreases fat on the hips, buttocks and limbs. Cushing's patients often have a moon face, so as I said in the last video, a buffalo hump and truncal obesity and thin arms and legs, okay? So what about diets for lowering cortisol? Well, look, this is obviously a very important thing. If we want to lower cortisol, we actually have to make some lifestyle changes, and cortisol responds very much to this type of diet that we have. So what is the goal for a diet that lowers cortisol? Stabilize blood sugar, reduce inflammation, avoid overstimulating the HPA or stress axis of the body, okay? So how can we achieve this? Balanced meals, okay? So protein at every meal, complex carbs, mono and polyunsaturated fatty acids, and fiber-rich foods. This will actually help prevent sugar spikes, which will keep insulin stable and reduce cortisol fluctuations. So guys, it's really a very similar diet for insulin as what it is with cortisol, is that we need to actually reduce the amount of sugars in our diet and make sure we've got more satiating foods that don't actually cause blood sugar to spike. So how can we achieve this? Anti-inflammatory foods, fruits, vegetables, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, olive oil. Rich in omega-3s and antioxidants that counteract cortisol's pro-inflammatory effects. Reduce refined sugars and processed foods, so less insulin. Sugar means reduced cortisol. Processed foods cause inflammation and metabolic disorders. Limit stimulants, caffeine, alcohol. Caffeine can temporarily spike cortisol, especially on an empty stomach. Alcohol disrupts sleep and can indirectly increase cortisol. So that alcoholic drink you thought you were having to decrease your stress actually increased it. Isn't that a wonder? So stay hydrated. Even mild dehydration elevates cortisol. So obviously drinking enough water reduces your cortisol. Make sure you stay hydrated. So possible helpful nutrients, magnesium, okay, because it does actually reduce your stress. Leafy greens, nuts, seeds can relax the nervous system. Vitamin C, okay. Citrus, peppers involved in cortisol metabolism, and maybe taking vitamin C as an actual supplement can be beneficial to you. Adaptogenic herbs, ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil. Now most people don't realize ashwagandha. I do take ashwagandha. It's quite a good herb. It actually reduces your stress, which can then increase your testosterone being a male or even a female. Okay, so there is evidence for stress support, but not a replacement for obviously medical treatment if you're on medical treatment. What about exercise for lowering cortisol? Well, the right exercise lowers cortisol, but overtraining can raise it. So a little bit goes a long way. Moderate aerobic activity, walking, cycling, swimming, light jogging, 30 to 45 minutes most days helps regulate the HPA axis. Strength training improves muscle mass and counteracts the catabolic effects. So obviously we know that, with Cushing's disease, but also with high cortisol levels, you lose muscle mass in like your limbs, and you also gain fat more within your core areas. So exercise counteracts that. Do moderate 30 to 60 minute sessions 2 to 3 times a week. Obviously, I train a little bit more than that, being a bodybuilder, but I still only train 4 times a week, maybe an hour to hour and a half maximum. So exercise for lowering cortisol also includes mind-body exercise such as yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates, and Qigong. Okay, they have been shown to lower cortisol and improve HRV or heart rate variability. So avoid chronic overtraining such as long, intense workouts greater than 90 minutes. High intensity cardio can also increase cortisol. Okay, so rest and recovery are obviously essential as well. Lifestyle factors. Okay, so this is definitely something that you should think about. Sleep is important, and poor sleep is one of the strongest triggers for high cortisol. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. Stress management such as mindfulness, meditation, and and breathing exercises. Social connection, because strong relationships decrease stress and lower cortisol. So look, maybe you think, look, I don't need people. It's actually been shown that, when you do have friends and you do actually, socialize more, your stress levels get lowered. So definitely being around friends, family, as long as they're not causing extra stress. Okay, so in summary, eat meals low in refined carbs, adequate protein, healthy fats, and fiber. Exercise consistently with a mix of aerobics, resistance, and relaxation type movements, yoga, etc. And prioritize sleep and stress reduction. Now look, if we have a look at generally what causes decreased cortisol, it's very similar to what decreases insulin, and it's also very similar to what actually leads to good healthy outcomes, guys. So really, if you want to lower your cortisol levels, okay, you don't go looking for things that might be, say, medical, or you don't look for things that may be just herbal. You look for a holistic approach to this. You get fitter, you get healthier. If you're carrying excess body fat, you try to lose it, and you try to keep muscle mass, if not build some more muscle mass, because not only is it good for obviously decreasing your blood sugar levels, but it's also very good for mobility as we get older. Okay, now obviously mobility is going to lead to more stress as well. So take these things into account, guys. If you got a lot from this video, please like it, please share it, share it to your friends, share it to your family. Okay, subscribe to my page, put the alerts on my page so that you can actually see them. Okay, when my videos come up. I do a lot of videos discussing different exercises in the gym, but I also do a lot of videos that are obviously to educate you and understand how you can improve your health. Thanks for listening, guys. Look out for more videos to come.